Greetings everyone, Leanne with Sacred Wild Woman here. Our topic today is about the air element and how you can use that in your personal life and in your spiritual life. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about some of its history and where it comes from, and perhaps some tips on how you can use it on a daily basis. So, welcome. So I want to give you a little bit of background about the air element in my tradition and where that resides, where it resides, and how we use it in my tradition. And in many different traditions, the air element starts in the East. And in my tradition, it starts in the East, and that's where the mental body lives. It also is the place where you think, and the place where ideas and creativity come from, and wisdom, that inspiring wisdom, inspiration, and illumination. And so we need to have all of the elements for all of them to create balance. The four elements create balance, and they are the key to an energized life. And the elements can be applied into your personal life on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So the four elements, there are actually five, which is also the spirit. So we have the air, fire, water, and earth. And then you would say the spirit. They have seemed to have spread in the Greece times, in the Grecian times, and integrated as well in medicine and magic, philosophy of Ayurvedic practices, Buddhist texts, Islamic beliefs, philosophies, alchemy, and astrology. And also in the European ceremonial magic they used the four elements, which is air is included. So air carries life force. It's the breath that you take, right? It is. We have to have that in order to live. But a lot of times we don't use a cleansing breath. And so air is important to be mindful of. Each element has to coexist in the spiritual world, the natural world, and the human experience. Air carries life forms from place to place, pollen, seeds, etc. It's the wind signals that changes the weather and the seasons. And Sandra Ingerman says it very well. The tribal people believed the wind was the carrier of messages to the life forms across the land. And so one would use the air element through natural incense, white sage, feathers, and that I'm going to give you an example of that. A bird image, or even writing implements, for air to be a representation. And air is a representation also of knowledge and powers of the mind, as I told you earlier. It is the symbol of courage and can be related in the masculine form. The elements represent energy and symbolize different facets of human life. They all come from nature. By connecting with them and understanding their presence in us, we become aware of our connection with nature and our relationship with the divine. So I'm going to give you some ways to use the air element. So one is your breath. When you can clear and have a full breath, not only does it send oxygen to your brain, it clears the brain waves as well. The other one is sound. When you use sound, it vibrates and it gives a resonance, and it creates a vibration and makes change on an energetic level. So when you sing and you make sound, it creates change. Another one is by the use of feathers. So this is a turkey feather. And when I use sage, which I'm using that right now, see? And I move the smoke and I bring it in to myself. It energetically changes the vibration because the air is flowing through me, and also the medicine of the feather creates an energetic change within my body. And this can be used in a spiritual or ceremonial way, either with your altar. Feather is a representation of air. You can also use things like, you can also do shape-shifting and use your imagination by shape-shifting and imagining yourself being a bird. Or if you're an extremist, you can go ahead and skydive and see what it feels like to be that kind of a bird, right? That's another form of using air in your personal life. So when we use these items, we create a connection to that force, that element, as I'm speaking of, air. So I encourage all of you to connect with that element, connect with the element. I encourage you to connect with all of the elements because they're essential to our day-to-day life. Without you can't have one without the other. You can, however, we are made of the elements actually. We are air, fire, and water. Chi is the fire that lives within us. It is the energy force. The air that we breathe is also an element. The body that we live in is part of the earth. And the water, we are made of 90% of water. I believe, yeah, it's 90% of water. So we are essentially all four of the elements. So I hope you found this video helpful to you and informative. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to have a conversation with you. If you have any questions, comment below or reach out to me personally. So sacred greetings and farewell. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Have a good one.